Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
3.
So why have you got one with more numbers than the other on this? Oh, that's different days, isn't it? Different times.
Yeah, this is just.
Yeah, that's February.
That's-
This is a sad attendance tonight. We gotta be rowdy. I brought a drink.
We're going to Bahamas.
Go where?
Bahamas.
Oh, yeah, you guys should go to warm places, you know. We're all sitting here suffering. I don't know.
In
I was
February.
going to say, is
I'm
that
not
the
going right
wind?
now.
Yeah,
You hear that?
yeah,
That is howling.
it
I thought it
is.
had dropped off some.
I know.
We lost part of a tree down in Bass Harbor too.
I swear I heard one. in the
Did you get a
middle
good
of the night.
picture of the one that went across the road a few days ago? Whatever. Oh, really? Yeah.
Is that by that lady's by Nemo's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been quite a few over by Kingsland.
Mm.
Nemo's is really clean today. I could see around the corner.
It's all blown away.
Making progress.
I found out my new phone's a wimp. I left it laying in the truck while I was
Yeah.
working up there, and I came down and tried to use it and said it wouldn't work. The battery's too cold.
Really?
I've never had that message before.
Well, I got some good pictures of before up on the dump site. It was so funny because he had the backhoe excavator there digging the trough going down, and every scoop would be, look at all the garbage. And you know that plastics never dissolve. I mean, they were bread wrappers
Yeah.
from the 40s.
Yeah.
I told him if he found any skeletons, just put them somewhere else. We can't stop this.
There's been some interest in that trailer up there, I hear too.
I hear that too. How are we gonna move the Kubota though? Down that
Does it-
trailer.
He
Does
says
it,
he only
does it-
uses
does
the
it get
motor
used?
in one spot.
I didn't think so.
You
We
see
could-
the size of the weeds growing through it?
Yeah.
We could buy the Kubota with it.
We bought enough stuff from the town already.
Yeah, but the trailer could have a thing on it to move a boat. Mike, are you building a house up on the hill there?
A duplex.
A duplex?
Yep.
Cool. Do you have a good view from up there?
I could if I cut some more trees.
I was going to say, you must be able to almost see out over.
From the roof of the building I already had there, I can look out and see Swans Island.
Really? Yeah. I
Yeah.
figured it must.
But, from where I am up there, I can just see little specks of water. I have to cut probably another 3 acres off, but I don't wanna do it yet until I have a replant plan.
February,
You
we'll
have
do
the
February,
widow's
January 4th.
peak up there.
That's in the plan.
I've been trying to get Kevin to do
These
that
people
where
that
he's
go south
building,
when
because
it's
it's
cold and all that, they
gorgeous
suck,
up
you know?
there.
Is this visually
And,
recorded
but I
too?
wanted one on
Oh,
the
okay.
last step so you could use it in all four
Anyone can find out
seasons.
where I'm going on
And
that
he
every
thinks it
vacation.
ought to
There
be
you go.
just open, like
We're
a
live.
balcony in the middle. said,
I don't
"No,
have a
fill
link to
with
it on the
snow."
website yet, but that's just because I find our
Needs to
website
have a
confusing too.
roof
No,
on
it'll-
it with
Yeah.
copper
Can't,
and.
okay.
They're two 3-bedroom, 2 full bath
Thanks.
units.
Katie's
And
outfit.
if I do plant an orchard if I clear a few acres and continue my apple orchard, then
You
I'll
guys
start
are,
clearing some of the bigger
Going
trees to
too
open up
quickly,
the
I might
view.
ask you to slow down.
But for now, I'm just gonna
Take
use it
me
as
2 minutes.
affordable housing,
Good. Good.
so.
Yeah, a lot of your employees would probably even like that.
Employees, down the road someday, I'll rent them for a while, but down the road someday, if somebody wanted to maybe buy one, I
Yay.
could, 10 years down the road, after I've paid off the loan, I could maybe do something like that.
That would be good. Yeah. How about the place across the road?
That sold.
Oh, did it?
Sonny Stanley from Swans Island bought it, but he
Okay.
only bought the lot, which I think is only like a half acre. The God still own like all around it.
Yeah, I saw a moving van.
I tried to buy all of it,
Oh,
but they didn't want to sell it. I'm like, I'll buy the trailer and all the land around it. They're like, no, you can't, so.
oh well. Well, okay.
Guess we're almost there, aren't we? Okay, I've got 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the Wednesday, November 14th, 2018 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Roll call, we have Selectman Mike Mansalili, Jamie Thurlow, myself, Kevin Buck, Town Manager Chris Saunders. And apparently you're recording tonight too. Adoption of agenda. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? What's that?
Adding the utility.
Oh, that's right. There is going to be another agenda item, adding a utility pole, which will end up being item J. Okay, approval of minutes. We have the minutes from October 29th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from Monday, October 29th, 2018.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes of October 29th, 2018. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, approval of warrants. See the list. We have warrant 53 for $1,105, warrant 54 for $9,254.07, warrant 56 for $9,099.10, warrant 57 for $153, warrant 58 for $88,866.49. Okay. And these other two were tied in. They're part of the others.
Yeah,
somehow.
they had various issues that caused them to have to be skipped, and so they were, the expenses that were originally in them are wrapped into
Okay.
one of the other warrants.
Make a motion to approve warrants 52 through 58.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve warrants 53, 54, 56, 57, and 58. Any discussion? All those in favor? Committee appointments. We have a vacant spot for the Acadia National Park Advisory Commission. Looks like we've got 3 applicants for it.
Well, 4 applicants if
Four.
you count the incumbent.
Okay. 3 new applicants. And Carolyn Gothard's been there for what, how long? At least one term now.
At least one term. Can find out pretty shortly, I believe.
No, it's okay, Chris. I'm
Are you
fine.
Carolyn?
I'm here.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
How long have you done it?
I was trying to figure out that I was doing it when it lost its charter time.
Oh, okay. So it's been a while.
Yeah. Since
And you would like to continue?
I would like very much. to
Okay.
continue, if that's your wish.
Could you explain to me what you do on the committee, I guess?
I will. I've learned so much from doing it because I thought it was a place where people just went to complain about things about the park, and it's not that way. We're charged with advising the Secretary of the Interior through the park superintendent on use and changes in the park. I brought a copy of the commission if you wanted to look at it. And we hear reports from all the various things that are going on in the park. Sometimes we will initiate something, we have committees that look into various things. And if we have a strong feeling about something that's going on, like when they were doing the road construction, we will write resolutions, we send them to the DOT, we send them to the Department of the Interior. And that kind of thing. We have no power.
Very interesting.
It's very.
I've
interesting.
actually
I have learned so
considered running for it myself at someday, not now. There's a lot going on, but pretty neat.
We meet at least 3 times a year.
Mhm.
Once a year over in Scoot.
I think if Carolyn's been doing it, we should just,
Yeah, I
let
agree.
her,
Yeah.
on the position. That's my thoughts on it.
Mhm.
You enjoy doing it, so,
I enjoy doing it very much.
So, yeah.
Sounds good.
And the law is, according to the bylaws, whoever is there continues until they're reappointed, or if they're not reappointed, they can continue until they're replaced. It's kind of loose.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we nominate Carolyn Gothard to continue the role for the Acadia National Park Advisory Committee.
Point of one,
Is that
point of order.
point of order?
Go ahead.
Basically, I like to speak.
Yes.
I came here for this position also. If what the lady has spoken, if what is parliamentary procedure, if she wants the office, she keeps it until she's reappointed. If that's the wording, that's the wording. I myself have a lot of interest in the park. And if I could get on record here, what her position would be on e-bikes on the carriage roads in the park. That's my biggest concern with the park. I expressed this in their comprehensive plan. I pushed the issue with them, and the one time that we were to appear in federal court in Bangor, the charging ranger wasn't present. And I guess that's my agenda to push.
That is one of the topics. Yeah.
To allow them or not to allow them?
To allow them,
What are they?
their power assisted, that the park, Kevin Schneider has proclaimed them to be motorized vehicles. They're power assisted, and for people my age, they give you 16-year-old legs. I'm not a handicapped person per se, where I need a handicap sticker on my car to park. But they say if you have a handicap sticker, then you can do it, but
My daughter-in-law has one.
okay, I'm 65. I'm not a Hell's Angel. I'm not trying to take over the carriage roads and be the new bicycle group on the roads. It's just that I just thought this was a whole overboard thing, and I've been battling with Kevin Schneider on the federal front, but he hasn't followed procedures that I was charged with for riding a motorized vehicle. Anyway, that's the whole reason I'm here for tonight. And you really don't have any problems with e-bikes, which are power assisted?
Electrical.
It's got a battery in the bicycle and you pedal on down the road.
That was one of the conversations that was had at the commission meeting, one of the recent commission meetings. And they're going back to the original intent of the carriage paths, that they were to be for non-motorized vehicles. But there are exceptions that are made on certain trails because certain carriage roads lend themselves more for that safely. And as you said, people who are handicapped, or imagine, have you talked to Kevin about getting a
Only
permit?
through federal court.
Okay, I think I would plead your case with Kevin directly, because they have made exceptions, but they.
I follow it through the paper and such. It's just that if this thing seems like a good idea to you, great. I guess that's what I'm here for.
I don't have a strong opinion. I would not like to see the carriage roads become mechanized, because then their purpose for being there for bicyclists and horses and hikers, is, the risk is greater for things to happen. And they went back to the original intent when the carriage roads were signed over to the park, how they were to be used, and that's what they're using as the basis.
I hear what you're saying. I don't want to turn the Bass Harbor committee meeting into a park meeting, but if you would keep an open mind and that you know that you can't ride a bicycle like you could when you were 60 at your present age. And just to keep it going and not to get over on the original intention, but to keep in spirit with it and for the public to enjoy the roads and not to have motorcycles or, I'm getting the federal law here, the definition of power sources and such, but
It's certainly a topic that can come up again, and I will see that it does.
I think you should give her your information.
And I think you should come to one of our commission meetings, because it is time for public input.
And they are
We'll
open to the
actually
public.
Discuss
Yeah.
the specific issues that they have with the park.
Can you give him your information on
Oh,
where
I
the
can-
meetings are?
give you my email?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Kevin,
Okay.
can I have pencil for them?
A couple of
Well, our next
Right on the
meeting
end,
will be
there's a
in
pen cup.
February.
Did you second that, Jamie?
Yes, I seconded, I think,
Yes.
Mike, did you say expiring 2022?
For the term expiring.
Yeah, for
Term
the term.
expiring 2022.
Yeah, I seconded that.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint, what's that?
Nominate.
Oh, excuse me, that's right, nominate, yeah, excuse me. That's right, the park does it, don't they? Nominate Carolyn Gothard to the seat on the Acadian National Park Advisory Commission expiring in 2022. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Congratulations.
Okay,
financial reports.
All right, so we are 34% of the way through the fiscal year, which began on July 1st, 2018, and will end on June 30th, 2019. I won't go through every detail of this report, but it did highlight a few areas that I thought you might be particularly interested in. So jumping down on the revenue side, a report on the vending machine sales so far. We've collected $138.55 in actual sales. On the expense side of that, there was a $555 cost to put in the electrical outlet to run the vending machine, and then each, the first order, we've only had one order so far of actual sodas, was about $200. So we're talking about $750 so far in expenses, balanced against $138 in revenues. Eventually, this has only been going on since the end of September. Eventually, it'll balance out, especially in the high season. But obviously, we're going to be in the red for a few months still. So, on the harbor fund revenues, the transient float fees are significantly exceeding the projected budget by $3,041. That is just because people have been staying at the transient floats later in the year than in the past. It's a welcome change. Means more revenue for us.
They're paying the bills and.
And they're paying their bills. So, on the expense side, there's not too much that I wanted to highlight, but I did want you to see the expense so far for the end of October on landfill remediation costs. So far, we've only paid $1,440 on resident system maintenance. That is balanced against the expected annual cost of about $17,000 if you follow all of the projections that that Norland's put together for us. And so I'm not sure if that's because the residents aren't doing proper maintenance for their systems. If the systems break because of their negligence, the cost is on them, it's not on the town. I don't know if it's just because they drastically overestimated, or is it just we're going to get a balloon payment later in the year and that'll even it out. We're in the first year, we're all guessing, but I just wanted to bring you up to speed with where I am on this. And then this was nothing unexpected, but the war fund, we did have one major payment since the last financial reports that I gave you. That was the debt payment on the wharf working capital of $22,511. So those are the highlights that I had for you on the financial reports. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
Motion to accept them.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the July through October 2018 financial reports as presented by the town manager.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the July through October 2018 financial reports as presented by the town manager. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
You want all those motions?
I do. I'm sorry.
Okay, regular business, fire truck loan. And we need to make a resolution first authorizing the note before we sign the note.
Correct.
I have one question on this. They don't put the interest rate on here?
On the
It's on the note itself.
I know it's on the
yeah, it's on the note, but
note itself, but I think this looks good.
It's pretty much what we already agreed to anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the promissory note as written and guess have us sign it.
yeah, there's two motions that are in your packet.
I'll second the first motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the 2018 general obligation promissory note to accept a $300,000 loan from the Bar Harbor Bank and Trust to purchase a new fire truck. I believe that was the motion that was made, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Make a motion to sign a resolution authorizing issuance of a $300,000 note to purchase a new fire truck.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign a resolution authorizing issuance of a $300,000 note to purchase a new fire truck. Any discussion? All those in favor? By the way, I hit some of the terms in there.
Sorry, I don't make them up.
No, no, didn't know it, so. They can, if they decide we can't pay it, they can call it, say we're in default, even if we've been paying it.
Let's see. I got swapped.
Okay, let's go on. Item B, Flatiron Road. And you want to fill us in on that one first, please?
The same deal as Lighthouse Road, it just wasn't an agenda item, right? I didn't know all the answers before I created last week's, or 2 weeks ago's agenda. So I couldn't include this, but you just need to make a motion requesting me to request MDOT to lower the speed limit on Flatiron Road, if that is your intention. And their process then is they'll do a speed study and make a decision.
I think the box did help out quite a bit. I talked with one of the owners there, the
Really?
homeowners, and yeah, it seemed like that helped slow things down, slow things down a little bit. So.
I didn't think it's working, just keep saying thank you.
Yeah,
No, it didn't, it slowed down.
yeah.
No, I think it's
Using
good.
mic.
Let's try lowering the speed limit.
Lower it?
How much?
I mean, I don't know.
45?
Currently 35.
Yeah,
I mean, 5 miles an hour?
yeah,
I was-
that's
I was thinking 25, but yeah.
I think 5 miles an hour is pretty,
I would.
would probably be easier to get.
Yeah.
I know. I'd probably lean towards 30 rather than 25, just because it is hard to.
Yeah. Well, I know it's 20 on Shore Road, and I haven't seen too many people doing that either.
Is it really 20?
Yeah.
You
I was
comfortable with
I was
that?
thinking 25, but I'm fine with 30 too.
Yep.
Don't try that.
The only, yeah, I was just trying to think of where it splits off there, because that sign that turns to 25 is right on the end of the
On
Flatiron Road.
Harbor Drive,
Yeah, on
yeah, it's
Harbor
right
Drive.
there.
Yeah,
It's 25 from that.
and then from there to down here is what, 35?
to-
35,
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe, yep.
yes,
Yeah, if you upped it to, yeah, I would think 30 would.
I'm not quite sure where this stretch is 35, to be honest.
mean,
with you.
20.
That's confusing.
25 is pretty slow.
Hmm.
That's idling for my truck, basically.
Don't you hate following summer people that look at the speed and go? And so when it changes from 35 to 25, okay, then back to 35, then 45.
I mean, I'm not advocating
You're not
for
recognized,
speeding,
stop
but
looking.
I know.
Yeah.
it's all done.
Oh.
Get past that now.
I think I'd try 30, in my opinion, and see how it goes.
I'm gonna make a motion to request, the town manager to make a request to DOT to lower the speed limit to, 30 miles per hour on Flatiron Road.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to request the town manager to request the Department of Transportation to lower the speed limit on the Flatiron Road from 35 miles an hour to 30 miles per hour. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, library building project. Apparently Morgan Churchman is going to allow his Pacific Hall to be the temporary library while its construction's going on. And we have to authorize you to sign a lease.
He did email me to correct me, and I'm sorry for the mistake. It's not the former Tremont Baptist Church, it's the former Tremont Methodist Church.
Okay. His rate seems pretty reasonable. Seems like pretty reasonable, at least to me.
Make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign a lease dated November 14th, 2018 with Morgan Churchman for the Bass Harbor Memorial Library's temporary use of the Pacific Hall.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sign the lease dated November 14th, 2018 with Morgan Churchman for the Bass Harbor Memorial's temporary use of Pacific Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, Mr. Churchman. Okay. Rich Cemetery, we have a couple of requests for purchase plots in the Rich Cemetery. I gotta tell you, I'm not sure why this, every time we sell a lot, it needs to come in front of the selectmen, to be honest with you. I don't think we're gonna make a habit of turning people away.
No.
That's what the ordinance says.
I know,
Yeah.
maybe that's something we ought to look into modifying, because, I mean, I don't have any problem doing it, but it doesn't seem like it should have to be that much of a process myself. I think you're very capable of doing that without our input.
I think it's because typically the disposal of real property is
Yeah.
seen as either town meeting or select board authority.
We can still pass our authority along, I believe. So maybe we should look into that at
I
some
could,
point.
I could ask the town attorney.
Yeah, okay.
And which one's the Rich
Currently,
Cemetery?
anybody can,
Just getting confused.
I never can remember either. Is
Yeah,
that the one?
anybody can fill one of these out and try to get a plot though, right, Chris?
Uh,
I mean, there's no,
Well, you have to, so the process is that they'll come to the town office, go through the survey with me, and then I put them on the wait list,
Mhm.
and then that's what triggers me to bring it to you. So they couldn't just like,
There's no qualifications.
there's no qualification.
no, but they couldn't just fill out a deed and bring it to me.
Isn't this,
Where's
is that the one by
location?
Cousins Creek?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
That's what I thought.
There's
That's
two
what
rich
it's called.
cemeteries in
Yeah.
Tremont.
That's what-
but
yeah.
This is the one that's on Route 102, right next to
Right
Cousins
across
Creek.
from where the bridge repair was.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we
You
just-
realize I did the calculations on the bridge repair. It took them 3 days for a foot. And I think that's being generous, actually. I don't think it was that many feet.
I'd make a motion that we approve the request of George Trask and Gregory Dow to purchase lots in the Rich Cemetery.
I will second that. Lot 15 and lot 16.
Lot 15 and 16.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sell lots 15 and 16 to George Trask and Greg Dow at the Rich Cemetery. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, you've got a presentation for us about recycling. I saw your notes.
Correct. So you would ask me to research some proposed new layout of the recycling area. And so what I've included in your packet is the current layout with the width of each dumpster, as well as the width of the gaps between the dumpsters. And then what we had discussed was an alternate layout where we move the dumpsters to the area sort of north west of the town garage. Having looked at these two layouts, I don't see how the dimensions would allow us to move the dumpsters over. There's just not enough space. We could create a little bit more space by reducing the size of the lobster trap pile or by relocating the lobster trap pile, but I don't think it would be enough. You'd also still have the problem, and I detail this in the memo, with the fact that Public Works does a lot of their work, like any boat repairs, that kind of thing, in that area where the dumpsters could be relocated. The part-time snowplow truck drivers park there. It's an area that's used a lot, and so you'd have members of the public mixing with Public Works, and I would imagine it would not be a good situation. So I can't honestly recommend relocating the dumpsters over there. in my memo, I bring up the idea again of a fence or some sort of structure, or those ideas have been discussed before. But that's my presentation.
No, I agree. I looked at it and I thought the same thing the other day when I saw there's a couple trailers there. There was some parking there. Obviously, the cruise parks there quite a bit. And
Mm.
I said, I don't see the amount of room. And after the measurements, obviously, there's just no way
Yeah.
to get everything in there.
Yeah, I don't, that probably isn't the best spot either.
No.
Maybe we can kind of think about it, maybe come up with some way to,
I would agree though,
Okay.
fencing it in on even 3 sides
Mhm.
and just paving it underneath where they are, just cleaning it up a little bit.
Do we own the lot by the Barn Arts across the road?
the town owns
Mhm.
it, yes.
Would that be big enough towards the rear of that?
A lot of people park there during school time
Mm-hmm.
and events.
Well,
I don't know,
mean,
what do we, let's think about, see if we can get creative.
Think
I
of
mean, might
another
be able to
idea.
do something
somewhere.
up here too.
the skating rink?
I thought of that too, that area.
Thought
Whatever.
That potentially could be a good area away from the
Yeah.
town office too.
Yeah.
Another spot for the traps would help free up some space, but they used to put them out back of where the skating rink is, and then the gate would be closed, and it was hard for people to come and get their stuff, get their gear and stuff, so I think that's. take a
Kyle
move
seems to
down
be a
here.
lot bigger than normal up there this year too.
Yeah, I think he has to let them set for so many days and follow the proper.
He's plugging away at it though. He's,
Yeah.
he's-
Do you know that you actually notify the
Yeah.
tag holders?
And then they have so many days before he can do anything with them,
So if they don't come again, they just sit.
Yep. until.
Why don't we table that?
Yep. I think table the idea and
yeah, I'll have my
get creative.
November 20th, next Tuesday, I'll be going to EMR and Ellsworth Recycling, Carrie Donovan, to take a tour of both those facilities.
Mhm.
Which I'm looking forward to my tours of 2 dumps, so
There you go.
we'll see.
What was the second one? EMR?
Ellsworth Recycling.
Oh, okay. You're not doing the fiber, right?
No, I've already
Okay.
toured the fiber right back in the summer.
There was a big article in the Bangor Daily about it, actually recently. I read.
And in the Islander.
Yeah. Okay, town office schedule. You'd like to close the town office a little early or completely on a couple days before Christmas and New Year's.
I have no opinion.
Okay. It's up for discussion. How's
Yeah.
that?
I think where it falls on a Monday, I would say close it. I first thought noontime, but if it's on a Monday with with the holiday
Holiday
being
on
Christmas,
Tuesday,
I don't know as the productivity
Oh,
will
it's
be
kind of a pain.
100% either. Everybody's excited for Christmas.
Oh, it's kind of a pain too. If you
Yeah.
get it, I mean, like Katie drives in from Des Moines and all that, do
Yeah.
4 hours. Yeah, I'm okay closing it for the day.
If it was on a Wednesday or Thursday, it'd be a little different,
Yeah.
but if it's on Monday,
I'm sure the office staff won't mind.
yeah. I make a motion to authorize the town manager to set the town office schedule to be closed on December 24th and December 31st, 2018.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded, authorize the town manager to close the town office on, completely on Monday, December 24th, and Monday, December 31st, 2018. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I think you're right. The staff would be pleased.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You gotta keep them happy. Okay, fiscal year 20 budget preparation. Third party, you had the third party budget. Request form, excuse me, for the budget. which looks
Just
good to me. That's pretty much the same thing it's been
It's
anyway. right?
exactly the same as last year, except the numbers are good. It changed FY 19 to FY 20.
Okay. That's why it looks so familiar.
I make a motion to approve the fiscal year 20 grant application form for nonprofit organizations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 20 grant application form for nonprofit organizations. Any discussion? All those in favor?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there a reason that the Tremont Historical Society is not on this list?
You know,
We've always used.
of course, yeah, the reason is that I looked at the list of recipients from last year, and you're over in a different section of the budget, and so I just want to make sure that you are included on that
I didn't want anybody on the board in the heart.
list. I assure you, you will
Just
receive your.
see if you're paying attention. Okay, item H, budget preparation, select board requests. I don't have anything specific I can think of.
So you just want us to pick things out of this if we really feel strongly about it and
Exactly.
include it?
Yep.
I think we talked about the election workers at one point. I don't have, you can look on if you want. The election workers from
Oh,
$10 an hour to
yeah.
12, just because I think that's
Yeah.
more than.
Yeah, and well,
fair.
I was working on this earlier today, and I realized that minimum wage will go up to $11 on January 1st, 2019, and $12
This
on
is added to their contract.
January 1st, 2020.
Just
And
adding
so
to someone's
It
contract.
just, to me, makes sense. Just make it $12
Yeah.
and make it easy.
Yeah.
Then we won't have to be anxious about keeping up with the minimum wage laws.
Extra pumping, is that adding to an existing contract? They're charging you by the pump, basically.
By the extra pump.
Mhm.
There's one, I believe, that's included, and then if we need it pumped again, that within 1 week, then that costs extra.
So we should include it. Just to-
Exactly.
yeah,
It's
to
just
cover
not,
that.
hasn't been
Yeah.
accounted
Yeah.
for in the budget in the
That
past.
one for sure. And obviously the buffing and polishing of the
Yeah, I
floor.
agree.
Yeah,
You want that to done.
hardware for Trio, I don't think we can go without that.
Yeah.
Reserve,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the reserve's important too.
yeah.
Surveying the head of the harbor cemetery, which
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 one's
one
that?
is this?
Up
That's
at the
on the-
Marsh Road.
Marsh
Okay.
Road. Yep, that one definitely, I know, because that's,
Oh.
that one was had all kinds of question marks.
I'm gonna say, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a landscaper, but I'm gonna say an irrigation system for the town office would be a nice feature, and I think most town offices in the area do have an irrigation system, and the town has struggled to have a nice lawn, even with what work they had done to it, so. I mean, it seems like a big investment, but there's a lot to put one in a facility this big.
The only
I'd
thing,
hate to spend that much money on it. It's the only thing I see. I know what you're saying, because the lawn was pretty brown this summer.
In some of the July and August we've had the past few years.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put enough water with a garden hose on it to get it to grow.
what about the water filter system here? Because I'd heard that couldn't take much water use as far as watering the lawn and.
Yeah, no,
everything
we,
else.
before we put on the water treatment system, the water from the building was just being redirected so that it was the same water that went to the taps was what was being put on the gardens
Mhm.
in the front. But it was just a small area that was being irrigated, if you will, but it was very rudimentary. It wasn't what
Yep.
Mike's describing. But in any case, it's no longer doing that because the treatment system that we had installed is not meant to treat that quantity of water. And so we had to eliminate that aspect of it. So it's no longer providing any kind of irrigation out there at all.
Yep, no, I just wanted to make sure there was enough water.
Well,
But,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but maybe I misunderstood, but you're asking the question, if we put in this irrigation system, is it gonna cause a problem with the filter? Was it-
Well, no, it was before it was going through the filter. I know,
Oh,
because I have a
okay.
system
Oh,
too,
okay.
and you can run a bypass off from
That's
it.
what
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I just want to make sure there was enough water flow from the well
Okay,
before you even considered it,
Yeah.
that, just to be sure we weren't
That's a good
draining
question, yeah.
draining our well all the time. That's
Yeah.
all.
Take the well cap off and take a peek.
and the water treatment system, I think something we could have on there too, the maintenance
And,
cost for that.
And another thing to consider with this is, like, this is an estimated, once it goes out to bid,
Mhm.
it could be
Oh.
a portion of that.
Mhm.
I think it's worth budgeting for it, and if,
Yeah, we definitely need, obviously, water treatment system maintenance costs.
I can't justify that price tag on the Ultrarine coats though.
I know. It's a lot of money. I think if I had to decide between um, the, the riprap on the Algerine coast or the irrigation system, I would probably go with the riprap only because of safety, if it is a safety concern down there. That would be my only,
It's just that one section, right? I mean, that one area,
I,
I almost fence it off. Yeah.
I would have to say that I would hate to see some kid get hurt down there.
Mhm.
No, me too.
And I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but it's definitely having exposed concrete and things like that. And rebar, I know cut some of it off, but it's gonna keep breaking up, and not something you really want to spend money on, but it's one of them things, it's like, if you don't, what happens?
no, I consider, well, yeah, if it's like I say, I think it's a safety thing, and I'm sure that the estimates probably will come in lower than that, for
I think
the,
you'd find the same for
Yeah.
the irrigation when it really came down to it. The chance, especially when they figure out how they, how they get electric and water out there. If it's easy, that saves a lot of money. I've had places that I've had irrigated before. You get access to electric and water real easy. It's simple.
Mhm.
And then the other question is, how far do you take the irrigation? That affects it. Do you just do directly around the building? Do you want to do the island out here? Because if you don't do that, that looks horrible. If you get a nice green lawn and then someone's parking next to something that's brown. I will say that the town office in Bar Harbor has irrigation, and their lawn is beautiful.
Mhm.
It's nice. It's nice to be able to go to a town building and have that reflect. And if you have nice plantings like we have here, just makes it that much nicer.
Can
It's a,
you,
it's a one-time investment.
Mike, is there a possibility, like in California, they have to plant indigenous things that would grow there, so you don't have to irrigate, but they don't die?
I
Yeah.
think that would be tough here. You'd still, even if you did, you'd still have the maintenance factor. And once this is in, you're talking a couple $100 a year to turn it on and winterize it.
no, I
And
agree.
I had one that I had put in at a customer of mine's house 11 years ago. It's working just as good as.
Mhm.
And most of any company that does irrigation, they'll come out, if there's an issue. They'll come out, they all warranty their stuff for a year or 2 years, 2 years on parts, 1 year on material, like sending a technician out to fix something.
What do you think, Kevin? I think it's a good, I like the idea of having a nice green lawn and having it represent.
I mean, I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't put it down the El Drain coast, but right here.
Yeah.
This is what people see when they come to
I
our
was
town.
debating that or making Jimmy haul around the sprinkler.
Yeah.
And how many times have they had to reseed, I mean, areas, and they don't take, then you get crabgrass.
It's looked pretty rough a couple times the last few years. I think it might be nice. Let's try budgeting it in there, something we can always dump, I guess. That would be my gut feel.
No, this is fine.
Budget it in and then,
Yeah. See how the budget comes out, we can always remove it.
I know.
Don't blame me when the increase is
We put
a lot
coal
higher
on
than
that.
what you guys expect.
Well, we can say no.
yeah.
We still have that shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can always look at this
Always take it
after
back.
and take it back
Yeah.
out once we get to that.
What, I was thinking kind of the same thing. Why don't we, how about budgeting like, I don't know, $12,000 to $15,000 for Algerine cost? And see what we could get it to come in at.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that if you budgeted 15 for that and just, we'll get done what we can get done for.
Yeah.
for 15.
22 to 26.
Yeah,
I
that's,
bet you could get somebody to do it for 18.
yeah, I bet someone do it for 10. The
Yeah, maybe.
length that I saw, it wasn't, yeah, if you did,
How many, you got a few rough estimates. How many were you able to just pull one or,
I only was able to get one estimate.
so yeah,
Well, I got two estimates from the same person, one for just boulders, one for boulders and riprap.
What we gotta do, we gotta leave a jackhammer out there and tell someone there's buried treasure underneath it.
That's fine, that's fine.
I think that's good. Why not just throw 15 for a number on it and then, do you think that's a good idea, Mike? And then see, try to get done. what
I looked at the
we can
line.
get
I put 18 on it.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's if it comes in less, we're heroes.
Well, again, this is one of those things, this is just preliminary, so we can
Yep.
change whatever we need to.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't we try including those, see what it does to the budget?
It'd be helpful to have a motion.
I make a motion to include the whole list of things as presented, with the only change to the dollar amount being the riprap for Algerine Coast, change that to 18,000. And to include all these in the preliminary fiscal year 20 budget.
I'm gonna second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to include the list of expenses with the one change of the Algerine Coast to $18,000 in the fiscal year 20 budget. Any discussion? And I'm just for discussion. No one else has got any projects that they'd like to see included. I know I mentioned a couple things in last year's budget. I don't have anything specifically this year.
I think everything that I've talked to Chris about, I've talked through and decided one way or another whether I thought it was something worth pushing or not.
And what do we have on the budget? This is probably open a can of worms, but for road work.
I won't know that number until much later in the budget process.
I just didn't know what we were looking at for particular roads. Should we start naming?
No, I don't think at this
now?
point, I
Okay,
think,
yep.
since we haven't thought about it in a while, but what ended up happening last year is you set a percentage that you wanted the budget to go up
Mhm.
at the same as at 2%, which is what Social Security went up last year. And so that number of how much we budgeted for road work, what went up or down as various other items changed and kept the overall budget at that 2% increase.
Mhm.
And so if you subtracted something, then that number could go up, but if you added something, then that number had to go down.
Mhm.
And it ended at around $63,000. And we could have a similar budgeting process this year, or you could say, we really want to have, $200,000 in that line. So there has to be, something else has to give. And that's up to you.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay. Item I, accounts receivable for Pat Hanley. Apparently, Mr. Hanley's owed the town $462.82 for quite some time, but loaned us some equipment. And we're debating writing off his debt. His payment for the equipment he loaned us.
It has been,
Accurate summary?
That's accurate.
and it has been since 2009, so
Correct.
almost 10 years. I think.
I mean, I don't know,
I-
you guys. What's your thought on it?
Better than nothing.
Yeah,
If we haven't gotten, we didn't get it yet, we're probably never gonna get it, so. Better just take our trade.
did he help with the oil transfer or just let us use his tank?
Just let us use this tank.
Pretty generous rental fee, but
Let you guys.
I don't care. I'm not gonna get it anyway.
What'd you do with the oil?
We redistribute it to the town office building, the public works building.
Good. Boy, Kevin, we had one of those things at home.
We didn't have the tank.
62.
Cheaper.
He's a
We
good
get
guy.
it, we get it
Yeah.
off the books.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make the motion to write off the debt owed by Pat Hanley to the town of Tremont in the amount of $462.82.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to write off the debt owed by Pat Hanley to the town of Tremont at the amount of $462.82. Any discussion? All those in favor? There you go. You have overpaid. Okay, and we have additional motion from a mayor to set a telephone pole, or excuse me, a utility pole. And
Mhm.
for the solar array, basically.
Yeah.
And it's basically up there by the warming, near the warming hut.
I make a motion to approve the utility location permit application of Emera, Maine to place a new 45-foot pole, C14 pole and anchor on Harbor Drive, 590 feet north of the Flatiron Road.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the utility location permit application of Emera, Maine to place a new 45-foot C14 pole and anchor on Harbor Drive, 590 feet north of Flatiron Road. Any discussion? All those in favor? Town managers report.
Right. Major emphasis of the last 2 weeks. All right, I've been so excited to share this with you. Lehman Hodgson has paid his debt.
All of it?
Well, you had already reduced it, a certain amount, but the full amount that he now
Okay.
owes,
Cool.
he paid the full amount. So very pleased about that. I've been having discussions with the code enforcement officer and the town attorney about some notices of violation. There will be an executive session on December 3rd for you to consult with the town attorney about how you want to proceed. We're also working on some strategy for handling the tax acquired property in the future and trying to make it more sellable. There will be a separate executive session on December 3rd, also to consult with the town attorney around the stop it. We'll take advantage of him while he's here. I have been plugging away at the FY 2020 budget. We had a huge number of down trees and power lines. So we've been doing communications with the appropriate people to get those taken care of. Public Works crew has been working awfully hard on it. Emera has been out there a lot, MDOT, fire department, a lot of different folks are jumping to help out, which we appreciate. And then arranging the Dodge Point Road roadwork. That was scheduled to start today, but got delayed because of the weather on some other projects. So their current start date, they told me yesterday was Friday, but I'm not holding my breath given the forecast for Friday. So we'll see. A notification letter did go out to the residents, letting them know that this work would be happening. I only heard back from one of them, and I think it's because there's probably only one person who's living down there right now at this time of year. So it's not a huge amount of traffic going up and down that road. Minor things going on, hiring snowplow drivers. I scheduled the school committee and Board of Selectmen joint meeting for budget review in March or February. I notified the residents about your decision about the water treatment systems. I've been working on the economic development plan. I updated the draft parking and traffic ordinance for your consideration at the December 3rd meeting. Worked on this Pacific Hall lease with Morgan Churchman and some members of the library board. We are arranging for the phone installation. I researched the recycling configuration. Been having a lot of communication with Tom Benson about the Hillrest survey. We got some, with the help of Hancock County Sheriff's, got some unregistered vehicles that were parking in Reed Store lots, got them out.
And where?
At the Reed Store lot on McMullen and Harbor Drive.
I've seen a few down there.
They're gone now. We are working on getting a town limit sign on Seal Cove Road. I discussed the town's cybersecurity situation with our IT consultants, and he reassured me on a lot of our things. Opening up a newspaper is a dangerous thing. It makes you very anxious about things like cybersecurity. So I've been reassured. We're okay. Met with Jerry Sperling and Mel Atherton to draft the library GC contract. Drove the roads last Sunday morning after the windstorm to look at some damage, and it was really rapidly cleaned up. There were only a few trees that were down by the time I got down here. I've been kicking around the idea of proposing an update to the personnel policy. Any final proposal will, of course, come to you before it's approved, but still just thinking through exactly what that could look like. Of course, preparing for tonight's meeting, I submitted the request to lower the speed limit on Lighthouse Road. I heard back from the contact at MDOT, and they're going to do a speed study next summer. It doesn't really make sense to do one right now. Been doing some research on whether the design costs related to the sidewalk project are reimbursable. After discussions with MDOT, unfortunately, we determined that they are not reimbursable, but on the bright side, they've already all gone out. We have enough in our sidewalk reserve to cover them, and we don't expect any others, so such as it is. I've been starting recruiting efforts to hire a new animal control officer. Our current ACO is Heath Higgins, and he no longer wishes to serve in this role, but he's willing to stay on until we've hired a new one. So recruiting for a new one. Been communicating a lot with Sundog about the progress of the solar array work. As discussed earlier, they've poured the concrete forms and done a lot of other work down there. I've been in communications with Real Term Energy. That's the group that's doing the possible streetlight LED conversion. So they're working on getting us a formal proposal, which will come to you. Last week, I met with representatives from Acadia National Park, Maine Coast Heritage Trust, Inland Fish and Wildlife at the Seal Cove Fishway. It was a big group of us, and we were just looking at the full layout and what are the next steps in this project. You need to get unfortunately a year's worth of data in order to have the information needed to know what kind of engineering needs to be done there. So this is a multi-year project that we're looking at, but we're plugging away at it. And I met with Greg Johnston and Justin to discuss the wharf reconstruction that will be in the fiscal year 2020 budget. Office staff, we had the general election with a 71% voter turnout, which was excellent. We had all the prep and follow-up that goes with an election. Also been strategizing about the tax-acquired property work. And then John Larson has been working on a number of ordinances, both from you, the fireworks ordinance, and then also the wireless communications ordinance. He's working through that with the planning board. Public Works, truck 1 is getting serviced at Fairfield. We've agreed to order sander belts, but 2 sander belts, but we're only gonna have 1 installed. And so if the other one, we're gonna try to get as much life out of it as we can because they're about $5,000 to replace. But if it does go, we don't want to have to wait for a new one to be shipped. So we'll have the new one ready to go. Cross our fingers that we don't need it.
They're universal between all the trucks?
Just truck 1 and truck 2.
Okay.
At least 2 trucks.
Yeah. Skating rink work, Jimmy dragged and leveled that site and got some really nice feedback from the recreation board chairman. Did paving of culverts on Cape and Clark Point roads. You'll notice that the culvert on the north end of the Cape Road is now much smoother when you drive over it. So cleaning up storm damage, including, and Jimmy spent all night down in Tremont on Saturday, November 3rd to Sunday, November 4th, and responding to tree calls. So it's a tough time of year, and it's not getting any easier. Harbor Master was out working with Public Works paving and working on plow trucks. We've had quite a few boats go free affected by storms, including spending, and he was also here spending all night in Tremont on Saturday, November 3rd to Sunday, November 4th. So there was a slumber party down in Tremont over the weekend. He shut down the water at the wharf, hauled out all the finger floats at the wharf, and he is plugging away at that trap pile. Some priorities over the next couple weeks: arranging the phone installation, making progress on the economic development strategy, getting the Dodge Point Road work done, and I'll be going out and checking on them throughout that process. I'll be doing the research on the solid waste and recycling with site visits to EMR and Ellsworth Recycling. We'll have a harbor committee meeting, and we should have the digital tax maps and then having the physical ones printed.
Good.
Any questions?
I just happened to think when you were talking about the parking lot and the non-registered vehicles.
Yeah.
I know it's in our ordinance, but would it make sense to put a sign up down there? Like, it's a few of them, just one that would say like, call it whatever we want, but just Reed Store parking lot.
Yeah.
No, parking allowed between this and this hours and, how many days or whatever, just to give an outline for people to. Do you
Well,
think
the
it's-
only, there's no vehicle restriction down there. There's no period of days that they can't park beyond.
Okay, yep.
Trailers have a limit.
Mhm.
There's no camping, and then the unregistered vehicles. But like a registered passenger car can be in there for 3 months.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, just put no trailers, no,
Okay.
Whatever, I just,
What
It's
are
an
the
idea.
restrictions are there
Yeah.
now?
I just thought it might be, it's just an idea for the future. That's all.
I will look into it.
I think if we
We could
limit
put it
the
on the
term,
wall.
I think it'd be tough because there's probably some people from Swan's Island and
Mhm.
French, they probably use that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's
Oh,
what it's
yeah.
used for
No, I'm-
mostly.
I just meant lay out whatever the rules are, just lay a rough idea for people on there and
So they know.
no unregistered.
Well, I know.
We could paint them on the rock.
I've seen
Yeah,
some,
yeah,
I've
you
seen
could,
someone
yeah.
camping there before.
Yeah, I mean, I know one of the trucks that was down there was just an abandoned truck. The guy just didn't want to deal with his truck anymore. He just left it there.
Yep.
So I'm not sure a sign would stop him, but
Okay, thanks, Chris. Suggestions for the next meeting? Next meeting date,
Make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, December 3rd at 6 PM at the town office.
Second,
been moved and seconded to have the date of our next meeting, Monday, December 3rd at 6 PM right here. All those in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
can I hear a second?
Like, you
I don't know
second
if you
that?
need a second to
Yeah.
adjourn,
Yeah.
Dave. I don't think
Yeah.
you need one on
Oh,
that.
really?
I don't think so. Seems to have heard that somewhere. I'll go with it.
I've not memorized Robert's rules.
see, Chris, I
I
told you
think that's
7
one that
o'clock.
doesn't-
703.
We did pretty good.
Sorry, I know we met like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
At some point, when the park takes over the lighthouse.
Yeah.
They're talking, they are working on a big transportation plan. And I've talked to them, I've met with them down there, and then they're talking about how they want to use the parks there, and there are some things they're considering that are gonna increase the traffic down there. And so if you guys have anything believe might be a solution. They talked about not allowing, first of all, I think that's how we expand the parking so that Island Explorer can turn around down there, but where people could park to go from Cape and down. Is there some area that they could use for parking so everyone isn't trying to drive? Because I know it's been bad.
Well, one thing that makes sense to me is the Island Explorer stops already got at the Murphy lot by the school, the gravel lot by the school, there's already an Island Explorer stop there.
Right, right,
And that would make as much sense as anywhere I could think of.
yeah.
Because there was a lot of discussion on people parking on the road and blocking off
Well,
traffic
parking
the
on
other
both
night.
sides of the road, and people not being able to get out and
Yeah.
drive